I grew up in a family where it was like, if you're doing something, you're doing it properly, and I think Everton aligns with that.
He was very much as we'd see as a real Everton player for the obvious natural mentality traits that he had from a very, very young age.
It means everything. Like I've been here since, as far as I can remember.
That was arguably a star quality. Self-confidence with humility.
Yeah, pretty much as far as I can remember, it's been Everton. I've pretty much always been an Everton shirt. Yeah, I've loved it here. I've really enjoyed my time. I've made some fantastic friendships. Some of my best friends still play here, and some have moved on. But I look at other people my age and sort of where they're at, and sort of how my path sort of took me a different way. I think football sort of giving you different morals and sort of has an effect on you off the pitch. I think it definitely has done. I see myself grow as a person, more mature. I think different challenges each year, even in the past few years, have been massive for me as a person and as a player. So I think, yeah, like I said, the club's been a massive place for me to learn, and I really enjoyed it.
We know you joined the club age 5, which sounds so young, and it is so young. Can you tell us a little bit about the process in terms of bringing boys in at that age?
Yeah, so they're playing, aren't they? They're playing from them ages. They probably enter a world where they've got a choice where they want to attend, and talented boys of 5, 6, 7 and 8 will generally have an option to come into Everton and train and get a feel for the football club, but obviously they get a feel for other clubs in the northwest as well, and there's some competition as we know in the area. But obviously the purpose of pre-academy is very much to give families and boys a real taste of your football club, and that's the first touch point, is the pre-academy ages, which is under 5s, under 6s, under 7s, under 8s. And I think for Harrison in pre-academy, it was really important, not just with him, but to make a really positive impact on him as a person. Harrison always loved the environment. He loved coming in and competing, wanting to win, drive. But he was very much as we'd see as a real Everton player for the obvious natural mentality traits that he had from a very, very young age. So yeah, the purpose, first seeing him as a young player, would be someone who loved playing football, someone who was desperate to win and compete, and someone who had the utmost drive, and that was at under 5 and under 6. And you're probably seeing similar traits right now in and around our first team. So yeah, that was probably a nice way of an introduction to Harrison and his family.
I grew up in a family where it was sort of like, if you're doing something, you're doing it properly type thing, and I think Everton sort of aligns with that. It's a chance for me every day to come in and improve and, gain percentages on other players who I'm competing with. So I think I was always in a competitive environment where it was sink or swim, sort of, from an early age, and it's definitely helped me. I think I'd like to say, as a player now, how I play, it definitely sort of reflects on that.
That sink or swim you mentioned, that seems something that you seem to quite enjoy, and you're looking at the past couple of years, going from 18s to 21s straight into senior football. Is that a scenario that sort of gets the best out of you, do you think?
I think so. I think it's where you've got to step up in moments. I think sometimes, as much as you'd like to believe it, you're not ready, and it's sort of, you've got to be versatile and adapt to situations. I think I've had plenty of tough moments while I've been in the academy, but I think it's important that you sort of keep a level head, and when the opportunity comes around, that you've done enough work behind the scenes to sort of be confident enough to go and attack those opportunities. So yeah, I think I definitely push myself on those moments. I think it's big for a football player. It's a lot of luck and a lot of opportunity, and taking your time when it comes. It's very important as a player.
he's referenced those values in terms of the values that the academy have set him up with, in terms of competitiveness, hard working. You mentioned those are things that came naturally to him as well, but how important is it to sort of instill that into the lads really early?
Really important, I think, to be an Everton player. They're non-negotiables of work rate, work ethic, mentality to compete and want to win, drive. And naturally some players maybe carry them traits more natural than others. But I think certainly as the coaching staff, they're values that we have to promote and reinstall daily, every single session. And it meant everything to him in terms of winning a 1v1 duel, whether it was winning a tackle, whether it was driving past his opponent. But he always had a mentality and desperation to want to win. And that's never left him on his journey. That's something as an academy programme we've had to nurture with him. We've wanted him to keep hold of that. At times maybe we've had to work on learning how to control it a little bit.
That was arguably a star quality. Self-confidence with humility. A massive amount of drive to be the best, to bring others with him. He was somebody that sought responsibility at all times, with an armband or not. His performance level stayed the same, and his will to win was absolutely massive, especially when he's 12 years of age and he's carrying that drive amongst them and almost desperation to be better and continue to improve. It was a challenge, but it keeps you on your toes, and it was a positive challenge. It wasn't something that was disrespectful in any way, but he just always had an ambition to play for Everton Football Club.
I think it's a really great example of Harrison's journey has never been linear. It's never been a straight trajectory up to the first team. He's had to experience highs and lows, but what he's always had really good family support around him. They've always trusted us as developers of making sure that Harrison is cared for, is pushed in his programme at the right times. But him having a real good support around him off the pitch, I think has been a massive benefit for Harrison as well.
We were unbelievably proud for him, having known him from such a young age. Obviously a local boy, but also his family who play a massive part in that, and he's had a really good support system. So pride for Harrison, but also for his family who, you know, deserve credit as well.
When you've obviously got an older brother, 4 years separates us, it was always going to be a case of me getting into football myself. Yeah, I'm really close to him. He's probably my best friend, sort of, in general anyway. We bounce off each other really well. Yeah, I think the main thing he's just sort of trying to say to me is, you know, keep a level head and sort of attack each day as it comes, sort of. Yeah, just try and get the most out of each day. I think it's the small percentages that add up. Yeah, it's the little things. I think when you stay consistent every day, only good can come from that.
I know your parents have been important to you as well. It's obviously a big sacrifice that parents of academy boys go through in the younger years. How much have they helped you, and how influential have they been on you as a person?
Probably the biggest part of it, to be honest. I think without them, I wouldn't be where I am today. I think, you know, my mum was definitely more the off-the-pitch stuff, making sure me schoolwork, getting me fed properly, fueling me properly for training, you know, being able to have that person I can talk with away from football. Yeah, like one of my best friends again, like it's your mum, the person you love the most. My dad spending hours my dad and granddad really spending hours taking me to football, giving up their spare time to travel all over the country with me. When you've got parents that are so committed and so supportive, it really can take you a long way and feel like you haven't really got any pressure on you.
I think for going back to Harrison's journey, he's still not obviously made the you know, he can take his foot off the pedal now. Knowing Harrison, he will be pushing himself a little bit more and more. But I think everybody at the academy couldn't speak highly enough of probably how hard he's actually worked to get there, and long may that continue.
And how have you found that new environment of the senior team dressing room as well? Because it is a big step up, isn't it, in terms of football, but in terms of an environment as well, it's completely different from maybe the academy side. How have you found being in that new dressing room and around those players?
It's definitely been a change, but I wouldn't say that the lads have treated me any different to what they'd treat anyone else. I do see similarities still from when I was a young player in the changing room, and still having a joke and still being a bit unserious at times with the lads. I think that really eases you. It's a really good group, we're quite close, and the lads away from here have really looked after me, even off football. Seamus has been brilliant with me, and he's really made sure I've felt comfortable being in and around the lads. And I think, like I said, it's so important that you feel at home, and take away the fact how long I've been at the club, it's a completely different step up. So to have people like that around just is massive.
The manager has spoken recently about how much importance he places on the academy in terms of the success the academy has. How much of a sort of boost is that for you as a prominent figure in the academy, and how much can Harrison be sort of a figurehead for you in terms of paving the way for more boys to do the same?
Yeah, I think it's when we're all here for the same reason. So in the academy, our role, our job is to try and prepare the boys for maybe what lies later down the line, and making sure that the boys have a good technical ability to be able to handle the ball under pressure. They have a certain understanding of their role within that. Physically, we have an obligation to develop all of the boys physically and stretch and challenge them. And psychologically, I think for Everton is probably the key area where we have to have boys understanding that nothing comes easy at Everton. You have to work really hard. You have to push yourself. And I think in Harrison's case, he was able to develop all them areas, but I think in his psychological elements of his game was really good. And I think obviously for having our manager at this football club, if you're good enough and having someone who believes in it, then he will give players a chance, which is, again, for academy staff is massively important.
How's it been for you working with him so far?
Yeah, it's been brilliant. Obviously, in a short career so far, I've worked with quite a few managers already. He's won a European competition, and he's been in the game for a while. He's obviously already been at Everton and knows everything what the club is about. He's someone I can obviously learn off. The coaching staff have been brilliant with me as well. I think, like I said, I'm just trying to be a sponge, absorb as much information as possible from everybody I've worked with, especially someone who is so, tied into the game and has worked with so many great players. I think every day I've got to try and, get the most out of it as possible.
And when you reflect on the past couple of years, it's been such a fast journey for you, hasn't it? From 18s, almost bypassing under 21s football and going straight into senior team football. Do you ever sort of take a minute to reflect on what's happened in that time?
Yeah, I think so. I think, like I said, it's still mad today, going out and training with players who have been playing for England, won Champions Leagues. It's still very much, you can be starstruck at times. I think that's important, that you still have that feeling. I'm not like a robot. I'm still playing with players I watched since I was young. But I think it's important not to let it overpower you. I think, I try and stop, and life moves quite quick, so you sort of want to enjoy it in the moment, but the next thing's coming and you've got to be ready for it.
You've said that before as well, haven't you, in terms of always wanting to go on to the next thing, and you seem someone who's really hungry to keep achieving the goals. Is that something that's sort of still in the forefront of your mind to go and establish yourself now as a key Everton player? I
think so, yeah. I think, like I said, as a player, you've got to want more. You can't be comfortable where you are. Definitely, I think I want to get in the squad, and I want to show the fans what I can do and what I'm capable of, but there's still a long way to go in there. I've got to, like I said, take me opportunities when I get them and impress as much as I can every day in training. It's definitely something I look to, but I just try and take every day as it comes and try and keep improving as much as I can.
And just finally, what does Everton mean to you? Because it's played such a big role in your life. You've been here since you were 5 years old. What does the club mean to you?
It means everything. Like I've been here since, as far as I can remember. Like I said, every memory I've got was me coming into training, you know, being with the lads, going to watch the games. I think, yeah, it's somewhere where it's almost my second home. Probably been here more than I've been at home sometimes, but I wouldn't change it for the world. I think the people here, the staff here, the lads I've been with, they've had a massive part to play. Yeah, I think, like I said, I wouldn't change anything for how it is today. I think I love it. I think I wouldn't change anything about it.